This tutorial video is to go through the process of linking sales orders and purchase orders for specific items that customers want from you that you don't keep in stock. We will start off with creating our sales order. So we go into our sales module, and from within here we can either select an existing customer, but for our example here, we're going to create a new cash customer. So we click on this little icon here, and we'll select new cash customer, and we'll give it some names, and we'll call the customer Stephen Keeney. We give them address as 123 New Street, Dublin 12. And you can fill out whatever other numbers you want here too. If you want to put in phone number, some email, so on and so forth. You can put in whatever information you want here. Click save, and then click use this account. So once we have our customer details entered in, we select a transaction type from the blue button here to the right. We click on that, and we can select order. So imagine for a moment that you're a bicycle shop and Stephen Keeney wants to buy a new bicycle. So we'll search by description, and I'll just type in the word bike and select one of the bikes from the list. So we'll add that onto our order, and then we will add on some other items such as a helmet, and maybe he also wants to buy some lights. So we've now added on 3 items, and we have some of these in stock and we don't have other ones in stock. Now you could just click subtotal at the bottom of the screen here, and there is a button on the print screen to create a purchase order directly from here. However, you will be doing so without checking first if maybe you have some of the items already in stock. So I'll just click cancel to get back out of here, click on the options drop down menu and go down to stock quantities. From within here, we're provided with some more information that can help the salesperson make an informed decision as to what items do need to be ordered from a supplier and what items don't. If I just scroll over here to the right, I can see that all these items come from the same supplier, Harris Inc. And in the middle of the screen here, I can see that I can fulfill the bike because I have 3 of those in stock, 3 are available, but I cannot fulfill the other 2 items because they're not in stock. So what we do is we just tick on the items that we want to fulfill here over to the left, or we could select all non-fillable items. That will just do the same thing if you have a larger order. And then we have a choice to make as to whether we want to create a purchase order directly from this sales order, or maybe we want to wait and order these items with some other things that we may need for stock from Harris Inc. If you want to do that, you could just add them to a suggested order list, which will put them onto a list that can be reviewed at a later time, and a purchase order can be created that way. For this example, we're just going to create the purchase order directly. So we click create purchase order, we'll untick the bike, and then we click generate orders. And then we're asked, do you want to include any text lines? We didn't add any text lines, so we'll just say no. And we now have a purchase order created. As you can see at the top of the screen, it notifies the user of the customer that this is from. Vice versa, on the sales order, it will say the supplier that it's been ordered from as well. So we can click options, print document, and on this screen you can email it or print it or whatever the process is. I'm just going to click no print just to finish that for now. We'll back out of here. Maybe you want to add a deposit before you move any further, so you can click add deposit. We'll say he's going to pay a 200 quid deposit by card. So we can print a receipt for that if you want or not. And now we have our sales order done. We've linked it to a purchase order and we've taken a deposit from the customer. Click subtotal, And if we do a print preview on that, this is a copy of the sales order that the customer will get. Obviously, people's sales orders can range widely in their appearance, but this is the kind of basic, typical kind of information you would see on a sales order. So we'll just hit no print for now, and we'll come back out of here, back to our main menu screen. So let's say a couple of days have passed and Stephen Keaney wants to call up and ask what's the story with his items that he's waiting on to come in. You simply select sales order inquiry. We'll just look at the last 3 months, click search, and on this screen we can see at the bottom here that Stephen Keaney's items have been ordered, but they have not yet come into stock. And over here we can see the purchase order number that they're on. We'll close back out of here, and what we'll do is we'll imagine that as another period of time has passed and the goods have now arrived to your warehouse at the back door. So to receive goods into stock, click on Menu, go to Purchases, find your supplier at the top of the screen. Our supplier that we're looking for is Harris Inc. There they are. And we want to do a purchase delivery docket. Click Create New Document, enter in a reference, and at the bottom of the screen where it says All Document Types, we want to pick the order that belongs to that delivery. So we'll choose our order. And once we click document lines, we're brought into what we call the matching screen. This shows you all the items that were on the purchase order. Sometimes in real life, not everything comes in that you have ordered, or maybe you keep stuff on back order. That's the purpose of having a matching screen. We'll just imagine that in this scenario, everything has come in. So we can just click match all lines and save, and that will create our purchase delivery. So the goods have now been receipted into stock. The good thing is that throughout this whole process, each user at each stage is notified and knows that this is a special order for a customer. So the person in the warehouse who's receiving the goods in can put these items into a holding area instead of just mixing them into stock with a load of other items. We'll close back out of our purchase delivery there now, and we'll imagine that Stephen has rung back up the day after and he's inquired again about his items. So the salesperson who answered the phone to him can go into the sales order inquiry, click search, and we can now see that those items for Stephen Keaney have been filled. So once they've been filled, we can advise him that we will deliver the goods out, or he can come in to collect them. And you can click on one of the items from within this screen. It will open up your sales order, and now you can invoice the customer for the total amount. So we click subtotal, create new docket at the top of the screen. We'll tick create invoice, and we will create the invoice. And we're prompted straight away for the final payment. So we'll select customer visa, hit enter, and hit finish and print, and that will print it out. You could also click print options on that previous screen, which would allow you to email the receipt directly to the customer if you're taking the payment over the phone. And that concludes the tutorial video on special orders for customers.